Welcome to another week of Family Life with Mama Rita. I hope your week was very good. My darling, we are all relaxing because we think COVID is gone. It is not totally gone. And it's always so surprising. Anytime that I feel it's gone and I can relax, then somebody calls me, Mommy, I have COVID. Just last week, was it last week? Yes, last week, Friday, somebody calls me, she has COVID, and she's at the Ga East or Ga West hospital. And then today, another person calls me from America. He has COVID, he's not well, and calling me to pray. I said, go to the hospital. So please, until you hear from CNN, BBC, GBC, that COVID is gone, please take good care of yourselves. Continue to wear your masks. Continue to keep social distancing. And then form the habit of washing your hands. It is so, so important. Last week, we did teens and drugs. And last week with me in the studio was Pastor Yao, Eben from South Korea, and then Max Osei. I want to say a very big thank you to the three of you for making last week a possibility. I got messages and messages and messages. Even after the show on Wednesday, on Thursday, I was getting messages. Friday, I was getting messages. Throughout the weekend, I was getting messages. Somebody even sent me a message from New Jersey. I should do a part 2 of it. So thank you so much. Thank you for making Family Life last week a possibility. And thank you for giving me a testimony. I'm so proud of the three of you. Today, we want to do domestic violence. Domestic violence. Of late, almost every week, either on telly or media, in the papers, there's something that is happening. Before I continue, let us watch this clip.
We had an argument last night, and he said a lot of cruel things that really hurt my feelings, but I guess he's sorry because he got me these flowers today. I got flowers today. No, it's not our anniversary or any other special day. Last night he threw me into a wall. And choked me. And then beat me till I passed out. I woke up bloody and bruised all over. It was actually a nightmare. I guess he is sorry though, because I got these flowers today. I got flowers today. No, it's not Mother's Day or any other special day. Last night he beat me again and again. and again. It was worse, much worse than any other day before. He wanted to sleep with me, and I'm on my period, so I wasn't up for it. A couple of kicks, punches to the face, and he had his way. I got flowers today, and today is actually a very special day. It's the day of my funeral. Last night he beat me to death. If only I had the courage and the strength to leave him, maybe I wouldn't have gotten flowers today.
Welcome back. I hope you just watched the clip. If you are just joining us, our topic today is domestic violence. Domestic violence, also called domestic abuse or family violence, is violence or abuse in a domestic setting, such as in marriage. I'm giving you the definition again. Domestic violence, also called domestic abuse or family violence, is violence or abuse in a domestic setting, such as in marriage. And that is exactly what you saw in the clip. It takes multiple forms, including physical, verbal, emotional, economic, and sexual abuse. When we talk about domestic violence, it's not just physical abuse. Sometimes people think it's just physical abuse, but it is also verbal, emotional, economic, and sexual abuse. When we talk about physical abuse occurs when physical force is used against you in a way that injures or endangers you. For instance, he hits you. It's physical abuse. He pulls you. Maybe he's angry, and you think that if you move away, it will save the situation. This is what you think. And then he pulls you. He pulls you in such a way that sometimes he tears your dress, or sometimes he hurts your arm or something. It's physical abuse. It is also when he uses an object to hit you. Sometimes they don't only use an object to hit you, but they use your head to hit an object. For instance, they use your head to hit a wall, or they throw you on the floor and start kicking you and using their shoes to step on you. It is physical abuse. Or sometimes they pull you on the ground. It is physical abuse. It is also verbal. Verbal is when they yell at you, yelling for nothing. The slightest thing you do, they yell, they scream, they shout. These days, even dogs, you don't yell and shout at them. The animal-friendly people will come against you. They call you names. You are useless. You are good for nothing. there's nothing good coming out of your life, is verbal abuse. And then they insult you. I mean, sometimes they use the F word. Sometimes they say anything to you. You are stupid. You are foolish. You are ugly. I've never loved you. Verbal abuse. Then, emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is making you lose your self-worth. You lose your confidence. They isolate you from friends and family. It is emotional abuse. They intimidate you. They control you. All these things are forms of emotional abuse. Sometimes you feel like even hiding when you see your friends. It is emotional abuse. Sometimes you feel like everything that happens, every negative thing that happens in the relationship and in the family is your fault. Emotional abuse. And then there's economic abuse. Economic abuse is when they try to control your finances. I mean, rigidly. Sometimes you are working. You work. You make your income. You have no right to touch your income. The day you touch your income, when you come home, you don't only get economic abuse, but you also get either verbal abuse or you get physical abuse. What they also do is that when they are the ones working, as much as they can, they don't give you money. They withhold cash from you. And every time you would have to come begging for some money. Then I will move. Let me tell you a story. This one happened on the 10th March this year. So this is just last month. 10th March this year. Daily Graphic reported the story. And according to the story, a business executive of an oil company in Accra, so you can tell what I'm talking about, who lives in East Legon, has been charged with murder of his wife. They have 2 children, 17 and 14, attend very good schools here in Accra. It's reported by prosecutors that the marriage had been on the rocks with numerous instances of misunderstanding, quarrels, and assaults. The families have been involved at some point. But listen, the wealth of the man is reported to have hushed the situation over the past years. I believe the woman would be a housewife, and in Ghana, when we say a housewife, is the homemaker, the woman who stays at home, takes care of the home, takes care of the children. She's the one that does all the work, and is the man that goes and brings in income. And most often, because the women are housewives, and it's the men that bring income, when a man wants to be economic abusive or financial abusive, what they do is they withdraw money from you. They stop giving you money. So even if they abuse you physically, you are forced to go back and you apologize for what you haven't done. Because at the end of the day, if you don't apologize, they don't give you money. Sometimes they don't give you food. If you have a car, they refuse to buy fuel into the car. So this is what we call economic or financial abuse. So what the man did, he assaulted the wife, who sustained several injuries and fell into coma and was rushed to the hospital, Medina Polyclinic. And Medina Polyclinic tells me that is not the man who even carried the woman to the hospital. Most rich people in our society will not go through the polyclinic. They will go through private big hospitals in Accra. So it tells you how much of economic and financial abuse the woman was going through. She returned home on the 6th March. She fell back into coma and was reported dead. Economic and financial abuse. And this happens to wives who have rich husbands. And then sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is any situation in which you are forced to participate in unwanted, unsafe, or degrading sexual activity. Sexual abuse is any situation in which you are forced to participate in unwanted, unsafe, or degrading sexual activity. I know a story where this man will come in, and this is a true story, will come in with his friends. He comes home after work with his friends, sometimes 2, 3, 4 friends at a time. He ties the woman to the bed, and each of his friends will have sex with the wife. I don't know if this is called marriage. Anytime the man was going out, the man will lock the doors and not allow the woman to come out. The woman was not allowed to use phone. I'm telling you something that happened in Accra, Ghana. And this woman daily will come home with friends, tie the woman to the bed, and each one of them will have sex with the woman. Until one day, the woman was able to open the window. All this time, she couldn't open the window. Then this particular time, after a long time, opened the window, called the security man. The security man opened the door, and then she ran for her life. And that is when we heard the story. Meanwhile, this man was providing everything for the woman. Big cars, nice clothes. When they go, and they were going to church. When they go to church, you see the woman in her car with her nice dresses, with a man sitting by her, and you say, oh my God, this woman is a lucky woman. My darling, she's not lucky. She's not blessed. She was going through sexual abuse in her relationship. In the weeks coming, what I'll do is I'll go into details with each one of them. I will really go into details with the economic abuse, the sexual abuse, the verbal abuse, the physical abuse. We will go into it. Maybe this one is going to be like the ones with the teens. We went to over 6 weeks. I don't know about this one, but there's so much to talk about when we talk about domestic abuse. Domestic violence and abuse are used for one purpose and one purpose only. Domestic violence and abuse are used for one purpose and one purpose only. What is the purpose? To gain and maintain total control over the victim. So you see, when we talk about domestic violence, it's for the man to have absolute and total control over the woman. They control your brain. They control your emotions. They control your actions. They even control your way of thinking. Sometimes the women can't even think for themselves. And maybe I'm saying women, but these days, I hear in the domestic violence, the women are even worse. What the women are doing to the men is even worse. I wish we could have a man tell his story in our studio. The victims may be trapped in domestically violent situations. The victims, it could be a man, it could be a woman, may be trapped in domestically violent situations through isolation. I would explain. Through power and control, through lack of financial resources, through fear, through shame, through guilt, or to protect children. The victims may be trapped in domestically violent situations through isolation, power and control, lack of financial resources, fear, shame, guilt, or to protect children. Isolation. This is what they do. Normally, they isolate you from friends and from family. And they are so intelligent and so clever. They start working on your emotions. They start working on your mind. Give you the impression your mom is a witch. Your dad is a wizard. Your mom has never loved you. Your dad has never loved you. Remember, you love them. And in your mind, you feel and think they love you enough. So everything they say, you believe it. Oh, your mom is too troublesome. Your mom worries you too much. Today your mom says, I'm looking for a phone. Today your mom says her food is finished. Today she says she's... So they say these things so many times that they deprive you of your family. And sometimes they tell you, oh, didn't you see when we went to the meeting? Oh, your siblings don't regard you. Forget about them. Forget about them. And then they start working on friend A. Then they work on friend B. And they work on friend C. And they work on friend D. They do it so much that by the time you realize, You are not calling family, and no family members are calling you. You are not calling friends, and no friend calls you. Your mom doesn't visit you because the last time your mom visited you or your parents visited you, the attitude of your partner put them off. So they decided they are not visiting you again. And they tell you, if you want them, come home. Meanwhile, the man has prevented you from going home and from seeing them. And then the last time your friends came, there was a quarrel. Why didn't they call us before coming? Why should they just come into, that kind of thing? And your friends noticed it. So they also decided that they are not visiting you again and they are not calling you again. So by the time you realize you are isolated and you are on your own, then they get you and they are able to have their way in your life. We will have a short break and then we will come back.
Nothing will resurrect in your life until you speak ahead of resurrection. The two angels said to the women, why are you here this early morning? Oh, we are looking for Jesus who was buried here. Because of the Sabbath, we couldn't apply the spices properly, so we are here to apply spices and get his body, so he doesn't get rotten. You've come to the wrong place. He's not here. He's risen. As he said to you before, he said to you that they'll crucify him by evil people, but on the third day he will rise again. What he said to you has come to pass. Resurrections just don't happen. You have to speak ahead of resurrection. From today, you must change your language about yourself.
Come on.
And the things that you say. Prophesy good things before they will happen.
Welcome back. So my last point was on isolation. And I was saying that the victims are trapped through isolation, power and control, lack of financial resources, fear, shame, guilt, or to protect children. I did on isolation before we went on break. Now, power and control. Most often, either the men or the women, they have so much power and control over their victims. And most often, the power and control is based on financial reasons. Maybe the man is very rich, the woman is not working, or I've met in this instance where it is the woman who was very rich and the man wasn't working. The man was sort of helping the woman in the business. I'm telling you, it was serious. The woman can wake up in the middle of the night and pour hot water on the man at 4 a.m. when the man is not up. Why are you not up? You should by this time be washing my car. Will use the heel of her shoes to hit the man. I'm not talking about something I read in a storybook. It's a case I handled. These days the women are wild. They are more serious than the men. So they have so much control over their victims. They even control their movements. They control who you must call and who you should not call. They control what time you must go to bed and what time you must wake up. They control the kind of food you eat. I mean, it's serious. It's very, very serious. I am praying that I will get some bold people who will be able to come to the studio and share their stories. I mean, it's serious. And then lack of financial resources. Because the victims are not working, they tend to depend on their partners. Anytime there's a quarrel, they prevent their victims from getting money. And like I said earlier on, you are forced to apologize to them. You are forced to go crawling on your knees to beg them because you need food to eat. For the women, you need to take care of the children. You need to take care of the home. For the men, they need some money to put in their pockets so that they too, they'll feel like men small. So they take advantage. The partners take advantage of them. The abuser takes advantage of the victims, deprive them of money, and they take, they have the chance to do whatever they want to do. And then the next thing they do, I think I've spoken about all that. And then fear. Fear. The victims are so much afraid. They are so much afraid, I'm telling you. I know a woman, when she hears the voice of their husband, she breaks anything she's holding. She breaks glasses, she breaks plates. And the breaking of the glasses and the plates even makes the matter worse. So they are so much afraid. Why? Because the man is so controlling or the woman is so controlling. The abuser is so controlling. And then shame. Shame. It's funny how shame can be a reason. They are ashamed of what family people will say. They are ashamed to even tell their friends, because when they come out, they are looking so beautiful, they are well dressed, and everybody thinks that everything is okay. They are ashamed to tell friends that this is what is happening to them in the marriage and in the relationship. One case I even handled, and this is just about a month ago. Her husband was so much physically abusive. I mean, it was so bad. And the day this lady was calling me to tell me, the first time I spoke to her was on phone. I mean, English. Oh my God. The Queen's language. You can see that this girl is very educated. Speaks so well. Has a good job. And because of his status, she was afraid or ashamed to tell friends. And it was so bad that she couldn't even tell her parents. Why? Because when she was getting married or she introduced the guy to the parents, there was something the parents saw about the guy that they didn't like. And they kept warning their daughter, be careful. We don't think that this is the right guy for you. Take your time. Take your time. You are still young. At the time, she was just about 24. You are still young. Somebody that deserves you will come. But, well, she was in love. So you see, when the man started being physically abusive, she was so ashamed to go and tell the parents about it. And then some people also stay in an abusive relationship for the sake of the children. If I leave, the children will suffer. Since I got married, I've never worked. If I go with the children, how would they be educated? How would I clothe them? How would I feed them? I don't have, a decent accommodation. So because of the children, they stay in and stay in and stay in until we hear that, the man has killed them or the woman has killed them. Let me balance it. So this is why people stay in an abusive relationship. But many people do not recognize, and I want you to listen to this carefully. Many people do not recognize themselves as abusers or victims. They don't recognize that. Why? Because they consider their experiences as family conflicts that got out of control. So you see, you had an argument, and then the man pulled you, and then in pulling you, hurt you. So you saw it as ordinary. Then the second time, he pulled you and gave you a slap. And you thought, oh, because he was too angry. And it goes on and on and on. Remember when we were doing red flags? Remember when I started this family life, I started with red flags. And there was something I said, that the day the abuser slaps you once, don't give him or her a second chance. Because if you do, he will do it a second, he will do it a third, he will do it a fourth, and will go on and on and on until you seek help. Domestic violence. The bottom line is that abusive behavior is never acceptable. My darling, on no condition should you accept an abusive behavior, be it verbal, be it physical, be it emotional, be it economic or financial, be it sexual. There should be no time that it must be accepted. You deserve to feel valued, respected, and safe. Every individual, be it a man, be it a woman, you deserve to feel valued in your relationship. You deserve to feel respected in your relationship. And you deserve to feel safe in the relationship. I have so many examples, so many examples of physical abuse. There was this lady that called me around 2 a.m. And that day I wept. And I prayed. And I said, God, let no child of mine ever go through this. If I tell you the background of this girl, you'll be shocked. Comes from what we Ghanaians will call a dadabi home. In other words, comes from a good home with mommy and daddy, well trained, well educated, went to first class schools in Ghana, has a first degree, has a second degree. Married, I was almost going to mention the profession, but let me not disrespect the profession because of one person. I mean, if I tell you the profession, you'll be shocked. And people who are sick, it doesn't matter their profession. This man, learned, intelligent, well educated, will physically abuse his wife. After he's done that, will tear her dress, strip her naked before houseboy, before security man, before gardeners. I'm not joking. I didn't watch it as a film. I didn't read it in, for those of you who grew up with me, Mills and Boom. It's something, a case I handled. I mean, it's serious. And I hope everybody will take what we are discussing seriously. Even if you are not in a physical abusive relationship, listen well and help or deliver somebody. There's another story I read, but before the story comes, please start bringing in your questions. Because of the presentation today, I might not be able to do question time. I just want to introduce you to domestic violence. And then next week, we will come with a presentation and then also ask Mama Rita. So I was saying there's another story I read on Saturday, the 3rd April 2021. Yes, you heard me. 3rd April 2021. Today is the 28th, if I said it correctly. So this is barely a few days ago, about 25 days ago. And I read this on the Ghana web. A Ghanaian-based Burkinabe woman ran from her marital home, a marriage of 5 years, due to constant physical abuse. She claims he was not the abusive type when they were dating and they were going out. So you see, sometimes when people come to us as counselors, we want to find out, was he like that during when you were going out, when you were courting? And some people will say that, oh, he showed signs. He showed a bit of signs. But when I read this story, I realized that, my darling, some people don't show signs at all. They look like angels. They act like angels. They will pray with you, have quiet time with you, have all night with you. They will call you first thing in the morning. Have you read your Bible? And you tell yourself, oh, what a born again and what a Christian I have married. So according to this lady's story, there was no sign. Then immediately after the wedding, Immediately, the man became physically abusive. And she was bold. I mean, this is a very bold woman. She was bold and asked the man why the change. And hear what he said. He said he had always been like that. Hey, God, deliver my daughters. Deliver my daughters from marrying sick men and evil men. He said he was always like that and did not like to repeat himself. And for the fear of her life and her daughters, she left Burkina to come and live with an auntie here in Ghana. My darling, if you are in any relationship like that, run for your dear life. Whew. I'm getting emotional. This is a man who never showed any sign. And then right after the wedding, he calculated it. Anyway, let's go to signs of an abusive relationship. I wonder if I'll be able to finish this. But we will see. Signs of an abusive relationship. There are many signs of abusive relationship or relationships. But fear, and I want you to listen to me, fear of your partner, fear of your partner is number one. There are so many signs, but fear of your partner is number one. If you are constantly watching what you say and do in order to avoid trouble, chances are that your relationship is unhealthy and abusive. If you would always have to calculate what you say to your wife, otherwise he will pour acid on you. Yes, you heard me. There are wives who are pouring acid on their husbands. There are wives who are grinding pepper. They will add ginger to it, add salt to it, mix it with hot water, and pour it on their husbands. Hey. So if you are constantly watching what you say because you are afraid that she will spark off again or he will spark off again, then I am here to let you know that you are not in a healthy relationship. Other signs include a partner who belittles you or tries to control you. Belittle, it's a long time I use this English. They make you feel small. They make you feel stupid. Or tries to control you. And having feelings, sometimes you have the feelings of hating your own self. You look at yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself, this is not me. And you hate yourself. You are so helpless and desperate. My darling, they are signs of an abusive relationship. Now listen to these questions of mine and decide whether you are in an abusive relationship or not. If you answer yes to 90%, 80%, 70%, even 60%, then you are in an abusive relationship. Are you ready? If you want to make notes, I will allow you. for the sake of your children and your grandchildren, and for the sake of yourself. You need to deliver yourself and deliver your children. Do you feel afraid of your partner most of the time? Do you feel afraid? You are always happy when he's not at home. When you hear the sound of his car, you are so scared. Anything you are holding, you drop it. He calls you. Anything you are holding, you drop it. Because you don't know when the next slap will come. Are you afraid most of the time? Number 2, do you avoid certain topics out of fear of making him or her angry? She goes out, comes back late, and you are even afraid to ask, where did you go? If you want to avoid these things because of fear, then it's an abusive relationship. Do you feel you can never do anything right before him or her? There's nothing you do right. A lady was telling me, when she cooks palm nut soup, the man says, why did you cook palm nut soup? Why didn't you ask me if I wanted palm nut soup or not? When she goes to him and says, today, what will you eat? Don't you have sense? Why did I marry you? You don't even have common sense. As a woman, as a wife that I've married you, you can't determine what to cook, whether to cook palm nut soup or light soup. The woman goes to cook light soup, brings it. The man says, did I tell you I wanted light soup? My darling, you can never do anything right. You can never take the initiative to do what you think you must do for a husband. Do you believe you deserve to be beaten or hurt? Some people believe that they deserve to be beaten, they deserve to be hurt. It's their fault. Do you believe it's your fault all the time? You deserve what the man is doing to you. The way he spoke to you, maybe you caused it. The way she spoke to you, you caused it. Maybe if I didn't say this, she wouldn't have been angry. And you are perpetually blaming yourself all the time. Do you feel it's always your fault? Everything that happens, you always feel that it is your fault. My darling, you need to watch it. Do you feel you are the one who is crazy? You know, in certain relationships, you can be so much physically, emotionally abused, such that you think that there's something wrong with you. You think that you are the one going mental. I had a friend. She will call me and say, I think there's something happening to me. I said, why? She said, I'm not thinking well. I think I'm insane. I think I'm going mad. I think the man is right. Sometimes they do it so much. They emotionally abuse you so much that even when you do the right thing, you think that, no, I shouldn't have done this. You think that you're actually sick when they are actually sick. Does he or she humiliate or yell at you all the time? Does he or she humiliate or yell at you all the time? They don't mind who is there. The children are there. They can humiliate you. Houseboy is there. House help is there. Security man is there. They don't mind. They can yell and scream at you. I went to one program, and I was so sad that day. I mean, these are people, we look at them from afar and we respect them so much. We look at their home, their background, their standing in society, and we respect them. So I had gone to this program. I won't mention the program, but I was invited to the inner circle for a reason, I think to pray or something. Then the woman requested, can I have this person there? Oh my God. That day, I felt like the earth should open for me to go inside. I mean, I was there as a guest, and I felt so embarrassed for the woman, for the wife. There were people there. I mean, it was a ceremony, people there. The man yelled. I mean, screamed. He could have collapsed that day. And I prayed that he would have collapsed. Screamed. I said no. Oh my God. I've never seen a thing like that before. And you should see this woman. I mean, high standing in society. Someone that when you go to a program and she's sitting down, you would even feel ashamed to sit by her. I mean, and the man belittled the wife. Oh my God. I came home for 3 days. I still, as I'm telling you the story, I see the thing so fresh. So, is he or she humiliating or yelling at you? Is he or she blaming you for the way he or she treats you? I hope you get it. Is he or she blaming you for the way he or she treats you? He yells at you and tells you, but you deserve it. You caused it. If you didn't ask me that question before people, I wouldn't have humiliated you. I wouldn't have yelled at you. I mean, they blame you for everything they do to you. Does he or she see you as a sex object rather than a partner? I know another man, anytime wants to sleep with a wife. And this one, the case came to me. Wants to sleep with a man. Remove your dress. First one is saying, I don't know how to explain it in English. First one is saying, what's your use in the house? Are you not here for me just to sleep with you? Hey! God, why didn't you give us such men? Why didn't you give us such men? We would have taught them lessons. Unfortunately, they are married to... Anyway. So he doesn't see you as a partner. He sees you some... Does he or she have a bad and an unpredictable temper? We are talking about signs of being in an abusive relationship. And I'm asking you questions. Maybe you don't know. You are not sure you are in an abusive relationship. Does he have a bad and unpredicted temper? Some people get angry over nothing. And you can't predict when they will get angry. You don't know whether when you give him this, he'll get angry or not. Or if you don't give it to him, he'll get angry. Does he or she hurt you and threaten to kill you? And there are women like that. Most of the cases we have heard, I will kill you. I will kill you. I will kill you. And the women think it's a joke. This case we had in America, I think Ohio or something. I will kill you. Even said to the lady's brother, I will kill your sister. And you will know I am a pastor. Or if I don't kill your sister, don't call me a pastor. A man of God, my darling, he's not a man of God. He's a man of Satan. There's no man of God who would do such a thing. Yesterday, I happened to have seen a clip, and I said we have sick people in our society. I mean sick people in our society. One of these so-called prophets in Accra, whether in Accra or Ghana. In Ghana, doing a video, presentation, and people were recording him. And those who were even recording him are sick themselves. And the pastor was saying, I don't know their names. The pastor was saying, how can I preach and give God his glory? And give the glory to God. How can I preach and give the glory to God? But God, does he share his glory with people? I said, oh my God. And there are people in his church, I don't know who he's working for. If you are working for God, would you go on TV, on camera, and say that as for you, what you can never do? I mean, it's on video. It's on video. Somebody sent it to me. It's on video. He said that's for him. What he will never do. And he will never do is to preach. He preach and share the glory with God, or give the glory with God to God. And that God, does God share his glory with men? That he, man, and there are people in his church. There are people in his church. And people will hear this, laugh over it, and still go there in the name of looking for miracles. My darling, this is not a man of God. This is a man of Satan. I believe he's working for Satan. And he's been warned in their kingdom that he should never ever give the glory to God. And you see, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. I'm not sure that he knew what he was saying. But he said it because the thing is here. Please warn your family members. They should be careful the kind of churches they go to. I was so sad yesterday that and people say this one is a pastor. Hey. Anyway, let me not go there. Let me leave this one for Apostle General. So he threatens you as a man of God that he would deal with you. He will kill you, and you take it lightly because he's a man of God. Does he or she threaten to commit suicide when you leave him? My darling, leave him, let him commit suicide. If he's a man or a woman, leave him, let him commit suicide. He threatens you that if you leave me, I'll commit suicide. And you stay there, and you stay there, and you stay there. I'll be ending soon. Does he threaten to take the children away or hurt them when you leave? You know, some people would always threaten you. If you leave, I'm not giving you the children. Or even if you take their children, I will kill myself. I will kill them and kill myself. You are scared of these things and you still continue to stay in. Does he or she act excessively jealous and possessive? They are so jealous, they are so possessive. Does he or she keep you from seeing or talking to friends or family? Does he or she hit you physically with hands or objects? Does he or she hit you before the children and house help? My darling, this is my foundation of domestic abuse. Next week, I will go into details with physical and sexual abuse, with emotional abuse, and with economic and financial abuse. Next week, I will come on with a lawyer, and I would also come on with a pastor. What does our law say? Is it legal for a husband to be the wife or for the wife to be abusive? And then I would also come in with a man of God to tell us, what does the Bible say? Is there anywhere in the Bible that the men or the women were abusive? Please continue to bring in your questions. My darling, Ghana needs you. Your children will forever need you. Nobody will take care of your children the way you will. Please talk about it. Tell somebody about the abuse. Seek help. And whilst you are listening, if you have gone through it, you have gone through emotional abuse, and you want to share your story with us, we will share your story without mentioning your name. Please, as you send your questions, please also send us your stories. We will read them, but we'll be very discreet about your name. Thank you. Until then, same time, same day next week, I will come your way. And I promise you, I am coming in with a pastor, and I'm coming in with a lawyer. The lawyer will tell us about the legal basis of domestic abuse. What can you do about it? And then the pastor would also tell us from the biblical side and then the religious side what the Bible says about it. Thank you, and God bless you. Coming all the way from Powerline TV, on behalf of myself and my crew, we say God bless you and have a good night.
Hi, I'm Pastor Naka, host of your children's favorite program, Bible Land. After a long break, Bible Land is coming back on your screens. This season promises to be bigger, better, more interesting with lots of surprises. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 13, the New English Translation says, "Your children shall be followers of the Lord, and your children shall enjoy great prosperity." So tune in to Powerline TV every Sunday at 3 p.m. and let your children enjoy interactive Bible lessons with my friends and I. Bible Land also streams live on Powerline TV pages on Facebook and YouTube. Remember, every Sunday at 3 p.m. Please, mommies and daddies, don't let your children miss out. Love you. Bye.
Who shakes the whole